Hey, this is Tracy Lewis with Stuff and Things, and today I am working on the 4th of July and thought I would share with you my thoughts and options for mix and matching 4th of July cards. So I can only use what I have. Thank goodness I had something that had stars. That was like the big thing. I knew I had to celebrate, and so the celebrate is circle sayings. I'm looking for it. It should be right here. So I liked this celebrate for a focal. I then hunted around for stars, and thank goodness I bought beautiful balloons because it has the perfect size of stars for a focal. You know, there's the baby stars in one of the children's set. It's a die that cuts out like 6 or 7 stars, but I really was hoping for something bigger, and I am quite pleased because this is the size of the 2 stars. And then I liked this tag. I liked the celebrate, which I then pulled stylish shapes. This is a little on the tight side, but it works good for the size because I like how when you layer this up, you can center the circle and you still get the full tag showing. So I was set with those pieces, and then I had to work on a background, and I thought of something that I have not used very much, and it really is what ties it all together. Ta-da! The spiral die. And I always bundle 2 stamp sets together, and I noticed on the back was Rays of Light. So I have 2 backgrounds mocked up for you to see how I colored them. I did use the markers. I think you would have to use markers to make this work. Even the spots would get too tight for the Rays of Light. You might be able to fuss enough with spots on the spiral. I will tell you that I use my Real Red marker and the holidays all the time, and it is officially dried out. In fact, I have owned these markers for 6 years, and a few of my markers are drying out now. The main thing I use the markers for, the thin side tends to dry out more than the brush nib side in this case, but I use the fine tip side for either making my own sentiment or doodling. And then on the brush nib side, I use almost exclusively to color stamps in, which was originally, before I did Stampin' Up years ago, I had one happy birthday stamp. It had balloons as part of it. It was a dots stamp, if you remember dots. And I would color that for everybody's happy birthday. And then I had a confetti stamp, and that's all I did. Everybody got the same card for like 15 years. So I've moved on since then into more variety. So we've got the background, 2 options, which I do have mock-ups I'm not going to show you quite yet. I have some focal pieces, but now I'm going to show you. I really wanted the stars, when I first cut them, looked really flat. So from my stash, I pulled out stars, stripes and splats. I pulled out the hammer metal plate. It seems okay, but everybody's going to know it's metal plate. If it looked to people more like just sparkly, it would be okay. So this one's probably not going to work. The painted texture seemed too large of a pattern for me. Timber would probably be just fine. And then Time Worn Type would be fine. There's also the new basic set of embossing folders, which you may have or may not. The 4th of July is coming up fast, so you're probably going to be like me, scrambling through your own stash of what you've got to come up with what you can. And so the basic embossing folders probably would also work. I chose to go with the splatter. So then for trim, I chose to go on the tag. Simply Elegant trim, because that's what I've got. There is a 1/8 set as a combo of gold and silver, 1/8, so very thin. And those are web exclusives, just like the basic embossing folders are web exclusives. And I think that those would work really well. Alternatively, you could take the organdy, which is right now a web exclusive. It isn't in the catalog, and you could trim it in half. It's a 3/8, so you could make it skinnier, double it up, and then maybe pair it. This Night of Navy trim might work. I'm using Blueberry Bushel, by the way, which is like my all-time favorite blue. It's a great 4th of July color. And again, because Real Red, I started to tell you I had worn out the Real Red marker, so I have my Blueberry Bushel marker from when it retired, and pulled that out, and then grabbed the Poppy Parade as an alternative, and as an alternative if Poppy Parade wasn't going to work, I had Cherry Cobbler, which to me is a little dark and a little brown. So lucky for me, Real Poppy Parade is going to work. So these you could pair together and make them both thin, double them up, and put those as tag strings. In my case, I went ahead and did Simply Elegant, and now I will show you what they look like. So first off, I will show you, here's my coloring that I did on the tie-dye, and I have it trimmed down. It is on regular paper. I have not committed. I was just mocking things up. So here is what it looks like. It's got a little red in the middle of it. I was thinking of adding water splats. If you want to do a little misting, I think that would be cool to make it look even more spiral dyed. And then the rays of light, because of how delicate the rays are, I doubled them. So it doesn't look so good here. I was doubtful that it would work, but here is what it looks like all together. Again, mocked up. I'm going to move this out of the way so we can see them both. So those are my backgrounds. I just trimmed them up. I used some random pieces of scrap copy paper, and this one on the left happens to be narrower. I don't know that I would triple mat it, but I could. And I'll probably do a variety of different finishes. And then I want to show you my tag. Here it is with the 4 pieces, 2 gold, 2 silver, wrapped as a little tag. I envisioned on this one it would go in the bottom right. I already have created my popped up Celebrate. It has Celebrate 3 times, but I didn't think I needed to have all 3 Celebrates showing. I wanted the stars to go off the edges, and there it looks all popped up. The final thing is my bling, which we have quite a few white bling pieces that I could color. Oops, sorry, I did not realize I was stepping on the camera tripod. So there are a variety of colored, but not the patriotic colors. We have the matte dots. Classic matte is what I had in mind for coloring. I could choose to color either the white or the ivory. I use the ivory the least, and see I have leftover ivory from this other pack. So I was thinking of coloring those and then adding them, 3 of them mixed. The other thing to consider is I have the silver chevrons and dots. They're brushed, and I could look at how those would go. I definitely could use the silver and gold festive pearls. No problem at all. That actually might be nice if I didn't want to do any coloring. And then there's the iridescent pearls. I don't know why that is in there. So iridescent pearls, colored or white. There are rhinestones that we can use. And I think, oh, and then I had these in mind just for some fun shapes. I think that these pearls are too large, but these flat top pearls could be colored, and that would be kind of fun. I believe that about sums up what I have got working for me. And if you guys have any other clever ideas of sets that would make nice 4th of July cards, please put them in the comments. I will post them to try to get us last minute people set up with options. I don't always do 4th of July cards. I don't even know if I did them last year. I seem to recall either I had a surgery that I had to do, so I can't remember if I did them last year or not. But this year I was determined to do them. Being that I'm in the house, I have a little more free time, so I am going to then mix and match. I'll take some photography of my mock-ups here, but I'm probably not going to get photography of the ones I'm going to finish. Since I've got them all mocked up, I will be finishing them tomorrow and pop them in the mail for those that have to be mailed. Again, leave your comments of any other options that you have come up with that you have found clever, and I will approve them. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Do all the YouTube things, and thanks for watching.